All right, welcome back for another SPL weekly recap for Week 7 with Finch and Dave. As always, we wrote these scripts for each other, and then we're going to read them for the very first time right here and now as part of this broadcast, so buckle in. I'll start us off. Week 7 in the SPL started with what should have been a lopsided matchup in favor of one of the league's favorites, Ghost, over a struggling Renegades team. And those from the outside predicting a 2-0 were absolutely correct. But the lowly 4% of voters who went with Renegades would be happy by the end of it. Predictions can be tossed aside for this one as the Renegades topple Ghost 2-0. I still cannot believe it.
Cannot believe it.
Game 1 was a lengthy one at 60 minutes with a bunch of intense moments. The early game was back and forth, with Renegades somehow keeping pace with the A-trade speed of Ghost and avoided running through Huey's girlfriend this time. My goodness. An attempted game end from Ghost that was turned aside by a Venenu triple ultimately gave Renegades the Game 1 win. But it was an absolute battle to get there. 82 kills, 20 of which were on Sam, 16 on Laspra. So needless to say, Jungler set the pace of the fighting and is the best role by far over Hunter. Wait, no, I'm a Hunter main. No, wait. Ghost just seemed a bit out of sorts, though it is hard to be hypercritical when the Titan was a few hits from being taken down. Just unlucky. The upsets would continue in Game 2, but this time even more convincing for the Renegades. The RNG boys started off with a nice first blood for SOT on the Achilles and kept rolling through Veneno piloting Hera. Yeah, Dave, let me have that one. Appreciate you, bud. Renegades seem unpredictable at this point. We've seen the lows, and now we've seen the highs. And now, let's see Dolson for set 2 on Friday.
That's right, the second set on Friday, Finch, was a battle of PK versus E United, and all those who hoped E United's trouble would stop there were proved wrong. In fact, the only things that stopped were the hearts of chat as my feet slowly drifted into frame. Two relatively one-sided games ended up going the way of PK, and E United seemed further than ever from getting back on track. You've broken me, congrats. I truly did end up being the Paul show. After all, he played his signature Hebo pick to great success in Game 1, bullying Hurrywind and making the Fenrir counter matchup look weak. Yeah, Fenrir seems to be something we need to get used to, I guess. It hurt that Cuvo had a great Camazotz, or didn't hurt rather, that Camazotz. Cuvo, my goodness, it didn't hurt that Cuvo had a great game on Camazotz as well. Paul continued his hot streak into Game 2 with another signature pick. Hell, this time, early was carried by Scary and Cuvo, with Paul picking up the reins in the late game, making sure his team was unkillable. PK secure the win, and E United have to wait another week to find more success.
Yeah, and then the one and only set we had on Saturday was casted by my one and only best bud, Dave, and also Mifflin was there,
Mifflin
kind of
was
an afterthought.
there, right.
There was the risk of a blowout on Saturday in favor of Space Station, and if Friday morning taught us anything, it's that no matchup can be overlooked, no matter what the standings say. And ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what happens here, except the opposite, as SSG take two dominant team fights onward into the Titan room for a couple of wins. This set was a heat check for Obey, who had a blowout pair of wins over Renegades just a week ago. But the Obey squad moved away from some of the strategy that had worked for them, the setup junglers with the skill shot execute mages. Despite the strategy changes, Obey held their own in Game 1, sitting on vote in a long lane like Dolson on your favorite Smite-branded chair. All right, we're back to that. Luckily for Space Station, the vote was able to farm and remain gold XP relevant until the mid-game, but it only took a team fight and a siege to topple the Obey base. There wasn't much different in Game 2, to be honest. Still a lot of pressure put out onto the vote, but eventually Hera would step on Obey in the worst way imaginable, unlike all the good ways. A soft quad from Dardes seals the fate of Game 2, and SSG hold on for the win. Me, myself, and I will start us off for Sunday. That's right, because of the mix-up of the schedule, I'll be going on to the next one here. That's right, Finch, you handsome man. Yeah, I'm saying that to myself. Sunday started off with another World Championship rematch between Ghost and PK. A set that has been won by Ghost more often than not this year, and this one would be no different. Ghost take a little while to ramp up in Game 1, but Game 2 is about as Ghost gets, and the 24-minute seals the set 2-0. This was an important set for Ghost after the 2-0 defeat to Renegades earlier in the weekend to stem the bleeding right as it started and to get back to the Ghost brand of Smite. We should have known how this set would look for the Knights after PBM and Panda pin Neil to the locker, a scarring memory for Dolson in high school, and body block him down to lock in first blood. The Knights had some fire, however, even taking away a couple kills, but the extinguisher that is Panda Cat strike again. stealing away the Gold Fury, effectively sealing the fate of the Knights in Game 1 after a little snowballing takes place. ROM is good. I'll take some notes on that. But it's onward and upward for Ghost into Game 2, where early pressure has the fate of the game in question. But Captain Twig has seemingly found his footing in the mid lane, piloting the AMC to the tune of 7-2-7. Pretty good for Twig, with Sanford Soccer not far behind. I guess we could define OK as solid and gloss over the Hades performance out of solo, but in reality, that early confusion will give him some benefits there. Game goes to the edge to put kills elsewhere despite losing first blood. After constant beatdowns at Cubo, left Pele far behind, Ghosts roll their way onto the win, and that rolls us on to Dave to finish off the weekend.
That's right, Finch. The final set of the weekend saw the SPL first-place team SSG line up across from the surging Renegades. That surging title would prove to be well-earned, as Renegades were able to take SSG all the way to 3 games. But SOT giveth and he taketh away, being a big reason they won and also a big reason they lost there towards the end in Game 3. Now, Game 1 went all according to the SSG plan. Against the grain, the Renegades do not ban Dardez's Aphrodite, and he makes them pay. Renegades have a good early game, but it ends up being kind of irrelevant. Dardez keeps Nika healthy enough to multi-kill Renegades back to the pick ban phase and try to regroup for Game 2. And regroup they do, largely bolstered by SOT's unique Fenrir. And it absolutely works. Somehow, he keeps Cheerios Hebo on the back foot, and the Renegades win a hard-fought Game number 2. Now, the deflating happens here in Game number 3, where we saw even more odd picks. SOT takes Susano into the solo lane, and Finch, take a guess. This one did not work at all. The pressure was on Susano effectively throughout the entire game, and in typical SSG fashion, Game 3 snowballs out of control in just shy of 30 minutes. So a big win for SSG to lock this one down. But that does it for Week 7 here in the SPL. We're going to have an off week next weekend, and then we'll be back after that with week number 8. But that's it, as told by Finch and Dave, and as written by Dave and Finch. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. We'll see you in week 8.